Hello, fellow people. My name is Coda, and I'm a guy who just kind of exists sometimes. As for today, I choose to exist by drawing and just blabbing a bit about myself because why not? So, yeah, let me be your background noise for the next 30-ish minutes and let's just chill. I guess probably the first thing you've got to know about me is that I write a lot. I say this because I've been staring at a blank page for the better part of 3 days at this point, and I'm still practically just clawing at even an idea as to how this script is gonna go. And I think that's mostly due to the fact that this isn't the type of thing I normally do. I don't talk a whole lot, and I'm realizing the effects of that in real time. Anyway, I guess more so what I'm trying to say is that I'm currently taking this way too seriously and am forgetting to do the actually important part of this, that being the writing part. Luckily for me, now that I've recognized that the problem was my stress, I know now that literally any idea is better than no idea at all. No idea at all. And that if it's really that bad, there's no shame in fixing it later. Not to go too deep into my life story, but I started writing when I was very young. We were moving across the country and such, and the night before the week-long trip to a home nowhere near where most of my family lived, my mom gave me my first journal. She told me to fill it with whatever I wanted to, and I chose a diary style, likely due to the books I was reading at the time. I kept a diary-type journal until well into high school, writing almost daily, and although I've dropped the habit for the most part in recent years, it did teach me a lot of things that I use in my journals that I keep now and in my stories. We'll get to the story stuff later. One of those things was how to create something out of nothing. The best way I can put it is that what often works best for me is by simply putting on the page, I don't know what to write, or I'm extremely stuck on insert topic here. What this does is it puts at least something on the page, and it makes it to where the page is a lot less threatening. This is a method that I use for like brainstorming or venting to myself in that typical diary style, but if you haven't picked up on it, it's exactly what I've done here. I acknowledged that I'm kind of clueless as to what I'm doing and started a conversation based off of that fact. There's a lot more than just starting that goes into my brainstorming process that I'd be more than happy to share if anyone is interested. But for now, I think I'm comfortable enough to start talking about some other things. I'm probably going to shock everyone when I say this next part, but I also really enjoy reading. Wow, oh my goodness, really? Yeah, I know. As I said, very shocking. In all seriousness, though, books are great. Now, I'm not the kind of person that buys more books than I can read, or tries to hop on trends or anything like that. No shame to people who are, though. I'm in no position to judge harmless people for their lifestyle. But it is rare to find me in the wild without something to read. I am in a state right now that makes it a bit difficult to figure out what I want to read, but otherwise I feel like I've been doing pretty good when it comes to my reading habits. Before my current state of confusion, the genres I really enjoyed were horror, fantasy, and the occasional romance. We'll get into that in a moment. But currently, I have seemed to tire myself of all three of those things for the most part. That might have something to do with the project of mine, but we'll get into that later. Of those three, though, I think I've tired out fantasy the least. Because I'm reading a fantasy novel right now that I'm really enjoying and I'm predicting will be my first 5-star for this year. I don't think I've read too much as of now, which is like the end of March. I think I've read 2 books. Both of them were horror, and both of them were okay. The first one I read was, hold on. I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head, so give me a moment of grace. You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. I think I rated that 4 stars. It was like really, really dark. I think I liked Hell Followed With Us a little bit better from that author, though. And then I also read The Mist, which I didn't enjoy as much, but I've also had a falling off with Stephen King as of late. Back to the fantasy thing. I think the reason that I am enjoying this book is because I wasn't really reading the kind of fantasy that I really enjoy, especially not lately. So now here's the part where I admit I've really tried to get into romantasy, despite that completely contrasting what I'd previously stated about not hopping on trends. Before I state my case, I'm going to again mention that I don't hate people who like those kind of books, and there were a few books that I did enjoy reading, but I'm not a huge fan of the genre myself. I tried getting into it because I was taking a break from fantasy out of rage previously. Cough cough, she who shall not be named, if you catch my drift. And I was easing into romance because I was really trying to get why everyone seems to love that genre so much. At the end of the day, I found that I can stomach some romance, but I still don't really care for it much, and I doubt I ever will fully understand the hype fully. That's probably saying more about myself than anything, but back on to romantasy. I've read a couple books that I did like, as I stated. Powerless by Lauren Roberts was pretty fun. I couldn't really get into the second book, but the first was pretty good, I think. I guess. Same thing happened with Red Queen. I really liked the first book, couldn't really get into the second one. Oh well. I really should have expected it, considering I couldn't really get into Powerless, and there's a correlation between the two books, if I'm correct. I also remember liking Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen, I think that's how you pronounce it, and am considering reading the second book if I can get my hands on it. But other than that, no, I really couldn't get into it. Hilariously, it still managed to affect my project, but I'd say that's more of an element than the plot. We'll get to it when we get to it, I promise. Back to my rant. I think probably one of the things that turns me off when it comes to romance. Actually, I'm gonna put a trigger warning and a timestamp if you don't want to listen to what I end up listing. 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. Anyway, the thing that often turns me off when it comes to romance is how women are treated and the overall making men and women and people and, just look sexy to an unrealistic standard, and, romanticizing abuse. And I think it goes and I think it goes both, in the more commonly used ways. Holy crap, I worded this terribly, forgive me. I was kind of trying to refer to the fact that, men and women are typically in romance books because straight culture. When it comes to making men and women look like sexy to an unrealistic and kind of cringy level, I roll my eyes and try to push past it, despite it leaving a bad taste in my mouth. But romanticizing sexual abuse really it's such an ick. It's absolutely not for me, and I don't really think anyone should like it, but that's just, I guess, a quote-unquote hot take. And the thing is, I'm not really talking about things like putting daggers to throats and stuff like that. Like, I mean, angst is angst, but like abuse specifically, and I don't really want to go too into detail about it because I really don't care talking about it as much as a lot of people don't care about hearing it. But yeah, when people are doing truly evil crap in stories and it's being labeled as completely okay, I don't know. It's just absolutely not. Of course, I don't seek it out, so I don't see it a whole lot, but when I do, it's just I crave violence, I guess. Alright, so I didn't expect that to turn into a romantasy rant. So, let's talk about something a bit lighter, shall we? Back to that fantasy book I'm reading right now. It's called Tress of the Emerald Sea. You've probably heard of it. If you haven't, you've probably at least heard about Brandon Sanderson. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock. Prove me otherwise. So after reading 2 horror books, which I'd previously mentioned, back to back, it's been really nice to read something a bit lighter that's funny at points, but also gets a bit tense and dark at others. I won't say anything specifically, but, you know, there's some moments towards the beginning of the book that up my alley. But yeah, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I do adore, like, the writing style, and how it really shows off that influence from The Princess Bride. I also find the world really fun, and am a sucker for stories surrounding pirates and really anything ocean-related. Yeah, I probably should stop there before I spoil too much. And I'm a bit halfway through myself as of recording this, so in the comments, please don't spoil it for me, or anyone else, really, that's kind of rude. I'm honestly kind of shocked that I haven't even tried to start reading a book from Brandon Sanderson previously. I think it is in part to do with the fact I was kind of scared to dive back into fantasy, like, fully, and I haven't really gotten into sci-fi, because I think he has some sci-fi books, pretty sure. I took a break from fantasy because of the J.K. Rowling bullcrap that made me lose faith in the genre, which, yes, it sounds a bit extreme, but I was also a moody and dramatic teenager when I heard about it, so give me a break. And I might have possibly been figuring myself out. Anyway. But yeah, I do regret leaving fantasy. I just always have loved it. It's kind of stupid that I let that small thing just completely impact my view of fantasy altogether. But hopefully I can go back to fully loving fantasy like I used to, despite the effect J.K. Rowling had on me. I could go on a rant about that, but we've already had the romantasy rant, and I'm not the kind of person who wants to be super negative. I swear, I'm super, like, you know, I don't know if you can tell by the amount I'm laughing, but I try to, like, see the best of things, you know? I feel like the world needs a little bit more sunshine, I guess, especially lately. World's a little scary, so that's my sense of rebellion, being happy despite everything. But yeah. Alright, now to get back on topic. I haven't too thickly talked about my enjoyment of horror, so I think I'm gonna do that now. I've been a huge fan of horror since my early teens, like almost any other horror fan, and though I've read a good bit of horror books, especially lately, I'm very hesitant to pick up a horror novel just due to my experience growing up. Moving into adulthood, it's easier to find books that are to my taste, but my experience of picking up a horror novel as a kid, and it'd either be too mature to hold my previously fragile attention span, or too clean for me to get much enjoyment out of it. What? Oh, I never finished that fucking sentence. As I'm getting older and moving into adulthood, it's easier to find books that are to my taste, but, like, growing up, I would always find horror books that were, like, either too mature or they just were not mature enough to hold my attention span. Because, you know, moody teenager me doesn't want to read kid stuff because I was too cool for that. Says the kid who was also obsessed with creepypasta, but here we are. Anyway, I often would read mystery novels growing up instead because, you know, tension and stuff. Um, and, you know, I honestly don't know why I stopped reading mystery. I'm not gonna lie. Once I moved into high school, I just dropped it completely for no reason at all. Like, legitimately. I think that's whenever I started my, like, several year-long phase of not reading. I just dropped reading altogether because I was trying to get more into writing, and I didn't realize that reading is actually kind of important whenever you're writing. So for like the first 2 years, my writing was shit, but we're not quite there yet. So back on talking. What else do I want to say about the whole mystery thing? Natasha Preston and Holly Jackson, I remember pretty well. I remember reading The Cellar whenever I was in middle school and being like, why the heck is this in my school library? This shouldn't be here. But I mean, I still decided to like it and have read it several times since. Not recently. As I said, I haven't really picked up a mystery novel in a while, but yeah. Crap, I was talking about horror earlier. So yeah, I haven't read a whole lot of good horror books, and am open to suggestions in horror or anything else, to be honest. As I've said, I'm in a sticky spot when it comes to genres I like at this point. You know what? Well, I'm stuck on what to discuss when it comes to horror books. How about I discuss horror movies? I might as well, because if I'm watching a movie, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be horror, because I honestly don't really like watching movies or TV shows. You know, it's not really my thing. I like paper. Paper's nice. Weirdly enough, though, I didn't really explain it too much earlier. Well, actually I did. So I'm very picky whenever it comes to horror books, but whenever it comes to horror movies, it doesn't really take much for me to enjoy it. Just typically, you know, gore or scary, or, you know, a decent plot, but that's quite rare in the horror genre, as we all know. Not new, but like even the really crappy ones, I can get a laugh out of it whenever I'm like seeing the poor writing in action. It's funny to me, and I don't know, guilty pleasure, I guess. But yeah, my working theory as to why it so wildly differs is my high expectations with horror books, you know, because you end up having to imagine a lot of things whenever it comes to writing yourself, but if I'm not really given the material, that seems very scary to me. I can't really come up with anything scary to apply to that specific scenario in a book, but in a movie, you're just given what you're given, and either I get scared by it, or more often than not, I'm not, and I can just get a laugh out of it. I could probably make a whole video on that topic on its own, maybe with some research, but I don't know. We'll see. If I were to pick a favorite horror movie, I'd probably say maybe Saw 2. I don't really know if that's a weird answer or not, and realistically, I don't care. I've watched Saw 1 through 5 and have enjoyed all of them, but 2 is my favorite as of right now. I do still intend on watching the rest of the Saw movies eventually. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, you know, because I don't really watch movies. But I doubt my favorite of the franchise will change. I'd like to say I don't know why I like Saw, especially considering I, in general, don't care for cop drama. Or maybe I do and I haven't watched or read a whole lot of it, which is also true. I don't really know, though. but like, you know, it's obviously the traps. The traps are the best part. Sure, the quality of the traps varies, to say the least, but some of them are so bizarre that I don't care. I also find it kind of funny how absurd John Kramer's morals are, especially how inconsistent they are to his traps. And yes, I'm aware that not all of the traps are his, but even some of his don't align very well with his whole appreciate life message that he's trying to send. That isn't to say that I don't like his character anyway, because I do. And I'm probably the last person who should critique the Saw movies, considering I've only seen the first 5. But yeah. Finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. What is going on the screen right now? If you couldn't already tell by the fact that there's a drawing of a person on the screen, I also very much enjoy doing art. I'm still trying to figure out the whole digital art thing, as it's very new to me, but considering this will be my first finished digital piece that I've done in a year or so, the first serious one, at least, and, you know, the best looking one by far, I'm pretty proud of myself. Now, I'm much more a sketchbook person, and in the future I'd love to share my messy, unserious, and often crayon doodle-filled sketchbooks, but I do not currently have the setup for that, so, you know, just not yet. What's working best for me as of current is doing the sketches in my sketchbook first, and then finishing them on the tablet, you know, that I draw on. I'm so good at this, guys, I'm so good. Anyway, my goal is to eventually not have to rely on the physical sketches, like in the sketchbook, but I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be the first person to sketch in the sketchbook first, and honestly, it's probably not even a terrible practice, but yeah, that's where I'm at. As for what I'm drawing, this here is a character from the project that I've been referring to a lot more than I initially intended to when I started recording for this video. The project in question, if brought up, I'm going to refer to as the Sunshine Project, or Project Sunshine, until I feel like I'm close enough to finishing my project to release the title officially. Project Sunshine is my first novel that I've been hoping to publish in the next year or so, once I figure out how to afford to publish it, of course. I'm not quite finished with the manuscript, I only have to finish editing it, as of right now, but I figured that I'm too far into the project to turn back now. Am I being a bit ambitious? Perhaps, but I'm allowed to be ambitious, aren't I? Project Sunshine is what I would consider a grimdark fantasy, though I could be talking crazy. And it follows Mill, a trans woman who traded her memory of the recently deceased queen for her own soul. As a result, after 5 years of thinking her life before the trade was all a magical and peaceful fantasy, the Honorable Mill traded her soul to, brings Mill back to the fantasy world Mill grew up in, to play her part in a tokened game, where she is forced to face the truth of her past and has to decide who to trust as well as who she can love. When I say who she can love, it's not just romantic. A lot of the story surrounds like family and friends, and not so much the romance aspect, though there is a romantic subplot, I won't lie about that. That's the little bit of influence I got from my little fantasy romance phase. Anyway, I'm still working on the synopsis, I think that's how you pronounce it? The summary at the end of it. And as you could probably tell, it's like not quite there yet. We're getting there though. And then I do intend on doing a video explaining Mill's character as a whole, as well as the rest of the characters, but for now I think it's safe to note that she is the main character of my first novel, as well as everything I just briefly summarized. Now, I'm going to upset a lot of people whenever I say this. The character you're looking at right now is not Mill. Why is that the case? Hell if I know. I just felt like drawing this character during the time I started planning this video. I actually can more safely talk about this character because I haven't fully figured them out yet, so yay! The character I'm drawing is named Lily, and they don't show up until later in the hypothetical series that Project Sunshine could be. They are undead via necromancy, though not in the living corpse way. They're made of souls. Their body is entirely theirs. It's just not their brain. The brain and their soul is not theirs. But yeah, that aspect of them makes them quite obviously strange among their peers. Due to other circumstances going on when Lily is introduced into the story, Lily's just kind of accepted into the little group that Lily barges into without reason, quote unquote. There is a reason, and I know what that reason is, but it's just a little bit important to the story, so I cannot say that here. I also can't explain what the circumstances that Lily walked into, because it's a really weird situation that would not make sense without context, and you can't have that context yet, unfortunately. Anyways, Lily, I imagine, has a lot of the same outcast vibes as, hold my hand here, we're going to be okay when I say this, it's going to be fine, Luna Lovegood. The extra funny aspect of that name, though, it's the fact that I very creatively named Lily's girlfriend Luna. So yeah. Now, Lily's whole personality isn't based on Luna Lovegood. I just imagine their voices and expressions are quite similar, but otherwise they're, like, completely different. Lily is a very violent individual. And if I remember correctly, it's been forever since I've read the Harry Potter books or seen the Harry Potter movies. Luna Lovegood really isn't. But yeah. As I said before, I'm still working on many aspects of Lily as a character. Due to the fact that they're kind of Frankenstein together, I really don't know how to go about their gender, and I'm contemplating having them reflect the personalities of the souls that they're built from. But yeah, it's confusing. I do have the time to figure it out, though, because she doesn't, like, show up until the later half of the second book. But yeah, I should probably figure it out soon. Yeah, I should probably figure that out pretty quickly, shouldn't I? We'll get there eventually. So I wrote a little section to finish this out before we get to the outro, and it turns out that I could not write it, so I'm going to try my best to paraphrase what I wrote. But basically, what I was trying to say is that Project Sunshine is not even close to my only project. I am writing like 6 stories at once right now. Half of those I probably won't never publish because either they're too personal or they're too absolutely atrocious. And of those stories that I'm writing that aren't Project Sunshine, some of them just really need some major development, and I do say all of this to just kind of point out that I would really love to develop them on here. I know that sounds probably a little bit weird, but I mean, I don't think there's anything about the fact that I am going this route to promote my story that is not weird. So, I mean, I feel like this is pretty in character, yeah. But yeah. I need to emphasize the fact that it's 6 stories that we're talking here. 6 stories that I'm writing at once. And I did not plan on going on a tangent on this whenever I wrote the script, but I'm going to anyway, because what kind of insane do I have to be? So 4 of those stories do pertain to Project Sunshine, because I'm planning on it being a trilogy with a prequel, because, you know, it's so normal, right? And then the other 2 aren't fantasy in the slightest, and one of them I've been writing since middle school and just keep completely scrapping the idea only to refresh it again. And then the other one is like gay political drama. Just like, what the heck? If you couldn't tell, that second one's probably the one that I'm not gonna publish. But I do love the characters, and I would love to share what is going on with them. They're just very silly. But I won't do all that here. Because, you know, I'm not that crazy, I'd like to think, says the person who is writing 6 stories at once. And you want to know what's really funny? I've finished a lot of short stories. So, like, those 6 stories that I'm writing aren't even the only ones. I have so many things I'm doing. And I'm becoming one of those people that just never stops working. It's constant. It's hell. It's just, what am I doing? I write stories constantly. It's going to drive me insane. I love it though. I'm not saying any of this to complain about it. I am saying this because I literally just look like a psychopath. I probably am. Whenever it pertains to story writing. Yeah, I'm so disappointed and impressed with myself at the same time. I did not realize how bad the situation was until I put in, like, the small amount of research to see how much of a rabbit hole I've dug myself into with this whole writing hobby. And I'm just... There's like 20 different documents on Google Docs, which is what I use to write my stories because, you know, again, can't afford anything. And it's just like, most of them are finished or partially finished short stories. Why not? Because why not? And I mean, to be fair, a lot of those were high school writing fair stories, and that had to be like 100, no, well, not 100, 1,800 words long. And it's just, you know. I do all of this blabbing to say, I might have said this already, and if I have, please forgive me. If anyone is interested in hearing me blab about literally anything but the main project I'm working on, please tell me there's a purpose in me working on, like, more than one project at a time, because I think I'm gonna lose it otherwise if there's no purpose in in me working on not my novel. Holy crap. Well, I guess that's it. This is my first video. If I were to comfortably assume how this YouTube thing is gonna go down for now, I'll probably post long-form videos monthly. That'll be the goal, at least, and I know I'm planning out loud, but I've got to figure out something else to do with the script, because it takes way more time than I was expecting. In other words, I'll probably be very experimental when it comes to how I speak on recording. As of writing this, I'm 90% certain my tone has shifted throughout this video, which is fine for now, I guess. I won't deny that I'm imperfect and still learning. But for now, I bid you all farewell, and I hope we cross paths again in the future sometime. Bye.